Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another update of my Canadian dividend investing portfolio. So what I do here is I buy and sell Canadian stocks on the Toronto Stock Exchange. I track everything with this custom Google sheet that I made. And yeah, I use Wealthsimple Trade to buy and sell the stocks, and I like using Wealthsimple Trade because it's a commission-free trading platform, so I don't have to pay each time I buy and sell stocks, which enables me to buy and sell small quantities of stocks, like often one at a time here and there, and I can really try to balance out my portfolio that way and try to build out some healthy amount of portfolio. So anyways, it's doing all right. Right now we're sitting at 8.22% overall gain, which is great in my books. I've been at this for just over a year. The stock value in my portfolio is sitting around $59,300. In this video, I'm going to walk through the $1,000 that I spent earlier today. I'm filming this in the evening because I was at work today. But I'll talk to you about why I bought some of the stocks that I did and exactly which ones I did and all that. But anyways, almost every stock that I have in my portfolio has a dividend. So that means that they basically these companies give me money just for holding on to the stocks no matter what happens to the stock price, whether it goes up or down, which is great. Works out to about 3.94%. And 3.94%, you can pretty much multiply this to the stock value, and that's going to give you an estimated annual income from your dividends. For me, it's sitting around $2,339, which is about $194 per month, which is pretty great. That covers actually a few bills if I wanted to, but what I usually do is I reinvest this back in. So like today, for example, I'm investing $1,045. I think my most recent deposit to the account was exactly $1,000. And so the rest, this other $45.07, a little bit of that would be left over from the previous time when I was buying stocks, and the rest, probably $30 or $40 of it or something, would come from dividends that I've recently received. Now we can actually take a look there in the dividends tab if you want to get a quick idea of what's going on. So I keep a track of all of the dividends in here. And so you can see, yeah, in the last couple of days, on October 15th, I received a lot of dividends. Like that's the 15th of every month is pretty good for me. And then October 27th and October 29th. So basically there's just cash rolling in all the time. And as I get them, I just drop them in here. And then that reflects in my dividend bar chart and also in all of my account totals and so on. So that's pretty nice. It's actually the best month I've had yet for dividends, which is funny because I often have the best month. Well, not always, but like you can see here, pretty much every 3 months or so, I'm always going to be guaranteed that I'm hitting a new record because I'm always investing more money, and that basically just means that my dividend income is always increasing. So that's pretty cool. If we look in here at my portfolio, let's sort it to be for the largest percent of holding. And I think I got that right. Okay, let's turn off the filter here so you can read everything a little bit more clearly, just in case you want to follow along and kind of see what's exactly going on in here. Basically, I have my biggest positions at the top. For example, Ryokan makes up 9% of all of my holdings. That's huge. That's much more than I want. I would ideally like to get no position greater than like 5%. And I kind of have like a really rough target here of about 3%. This is 3.13%. So if I had an exact equal holding in each company, because I have something like 31 or 32 different positions in here at the moment, that would be kind of the target. So what I do is I do try to buy stocks that are in sort of like, I say, the bottom half of my portfolio, and I have a little indicator here that I've built in that just says if this position is less than this totally equal amount. So for example, I have less than 3.13% of a stock, I'm going to have this little plus sign here. And that holds true because this one is 3.08 and this one is 3.36%. So this is just a little indication to me that I might want to consider adding more to a position. But it's not the only thing I go off of. I do also check to see if there's anything in the red for me. This way, if I buy stocks that are in the red for me personally, meaning that their current price is below my average price, that I can reduce my average price, basically making it easier in the future, hopefully, to be back in the green again. And something else I also do is I do like drop in and I check on these companies, but I don't have time like to be like thoroughly researching each one these days. And so often what I do is I also come into my extra Sparklines tab, and here I can just have like the stock chart for each company that's in my portfolio in the same order that you see them on the portfolio tab, and I quickly scan through here and I look for good deals. For example, you can see AQN here is pretty beat up just in the last few days, but often have a general trend of growth, and that's something that I really do look for. Like for example, CNR here. Actually, I'm going to zoom out, maybe go to 5 years. So CNR was an interesting one to me for in particular because they just have a long history of growing. If you look at their max chart on like Yahoo Finance or something, they're just always going up. Especially in the last 5 years, they were up something like, I forget what, 60% or something. But then like in the last year, they were like pretty much trading flat, basically from like this point to this point. And I thought, hey, that sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna jump in here. So I started buying in around here, and they've just recently continued to recovered from whatever this little dip was, and they're going up and up and up. So I find this tab actually to be super helpful for a lot of my really quick scanning for some research that I do, among other things too. So anyways, getting back into the portfolio tab, I did want to pick up some that were in the red for me in the bottom half of my portfolio, so basically anything with a plus sign. So that included TransAlta Renewables. They were down about 3% or so, and same with Northland Power, so I did pick up a couple of those. And then also, I don't only buy stocks that are in the red. For example, I just want to build up some of these smaller positions of mine. In particular, I want to get some of them bigger than Cineplex, because Cineplex kind of annoys me these days. Cineplex, Intergex, and DCM. These ones I'm not totally crazy about, so I just wanted to pick up some of Power and Bank of Nova Scotia, trying to kind of bump them up a little bit higher than these kind of 3 red ones that I'm not particularly crazy about, so I did get some of those. And I used to have a company in here that was called Acon, and if we look here in my transactions tab, and we're just going to search for Acon, you can see I started buying them at a pretty low price of around $14 and $13, and eventually I sold out of this position. It was a pretty small position of mine, but I sold for a profit and actually realized those gains. And if we look at the spark line here, let's take an individual one and let's just search it like this, TSE, they are ARE. And if we zoom out to be maybe 5 years, actually I want to go even bigger than that. Let's just go with about whatever the max is for this company. They are pretty cyclical, like a lot of these like heavy industrial construction and engineering companies. Like they shoot up and they shoot down, they shoot up and they shoot down, up, down, up, down. Like they are all over the place, but in general going up. So with a company like this, I'm comfortable kind of doing a little bit of sort of swing trading on them. When they're down, I try to buy, and if I notice they're up relative to some of their recent activity, then I try to sell. And that's exactly what I did. I think I bought in around here and sold some, I think it was sold around this point. Maybe if we zoom in here a little bit. Yeah, I think I bought like somewhere in here and I sold here, and then it dropped down again, and I felt pretty good about that. Spiked up again, and I was like, shoot, I wish I would have held on for longer. But I've just noticed here it's dropped off again, and I've already taken realized gains from these guys. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and do it again, and we'll see what happens. If you actually look in Wealthsimple, you can see the same thing, but I wanted to focus in here on the 1 week chart. They're down almost 11% in the last week, and I'm not concerned that this means it's like the end of the company and they're just going to like explode and go away. I just feel like it's most likely one of these little dips that they're going to have going on, and so I thought, you know what, that's great, because had I just held on to my shares initially, I'm basically at the pretty close to the point that I sold them at, actually a little bit below, I think, so that's fine. And whether or not, you know, if I do manage to catch a swing again and I can like get a good price in a relatively short period of time of a few months, I'll take it. But if not, if it just something goes hectic and this goes sideways, they still have a very strong dividend here of 3.8%, and these guys are all pretty much always paying that. So whether I actually do a swing trade or not, I'm just going to hold on to this and take my 3.8%, which is around the average of my portfolio anyways, and I'm going to be pretty happy with that. So this is actually my biggest purchase today. We can see here in the activity, I put in about $700 into Acon. The other ones I kind of just bought 1 share of Power, 1 share of Bank of Nova Scotia, a couple of NPI, and a couple of TransAlta Renewables. And it's funny because I was actually trying to build some of these small positions bigger than what I had for Cineplex. We can look them up right here. Cineplex actually had a huge day today. They're up 4% today. And earlier today when I was buying the stocks, I checked right around this point, and they were up like 8% since the day before. And I was like, holy crap. I'm trying to like get my positions bigger than these guys, but they're starting to climb back up again. So we'll see. I don't think I'm going to be adding much more into them. I'm just going to kind of watch this and see what happens, because this is, I don't know, pretty going in the wrong direction overall. But yeah, anyways, that was pretty much what I was up to. So moving on, what I do is I take this information here, exactly the quantity and number of shares that and price of shares that I purchased, And I drop back into the transactions tab here, and I'm just going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and I just drop these in exactly how I saw them in Wealthsimple Trade, so the quantity and exact price. And then I double check this column over here just to make sure that the totals add up as well, because if I put in the wrong quantity or the wrong price, even if it's off by like a cent or something, this won't add up exactly to what I saw in Wealthsimple, so that's a nice little check for me as well. And then usually what I do is I drop back in to check what my increased dividend annual income is. But before I do that, because I've reintroduced a new position into my portfolio, what I do here is I need to add it back into my portfolio tab. So let's turn on the filter here, which is right there. I like to sort this from chronological order from when I kind of most recently added them into my portfolio. So these guys are going to be number 33 for now. Even though I used to hold them, I'm just going to consider them as like a kind of a new position for now. So this is industrials. This is TSEARE for Acon. And there we go. So I've already lost $3.24 on that position. Great. Hopefully it doesn't drop too much more, or if it does, maybe I'll just buy more and continue averaging down on this swing, if it is a swing, or even if it's just a endless downward spiral, maybe I'll just keep riding it down too. Who knows? And you can even see here, I've got some lifetime dividends because I used to hold onto this company anyways back in the past. So looking at the summary tab, you can see here that I basically just have $7 left for cash in the account, but the thing that I'm most interested in right now is the dividend annual income. So at the beginning of the video, this was $2,339, and now we're sitting at $2,380. So that's an increase of about $41 per year of totally passive income, which is tax-free because it's in my tax-free savings account. And it's just going to continue growing. So like this grows when I, like I just did now, and buy more dividend paying stocks. But then as those dividend paying stocks, like even the new ones, as they can start giving me dividends, I'm going to reinvest that, and that's going to come back into my available cash, and then it will enable me to buy more, further increasing this. And then after that too, a lot of these companies that I own are dividend aristocrats, basically meaning, long story short, that they continuously pay their dividends. They pretty much always do, and they like to increase the dividend payments just naturally over time as well, generally as their stock price goes up. So even if I don't invest my own money or reinvest the money, this number is going to climb up as well, just as the companies decide to increase their dividend payments, which is super awesome. And all three of those together, we get what's called the dividend snowball effect, and then you start seeing this really pronounced upward growth curve here, and this is nowhere near long enough to like see the effect of that really, but as I go for years and decades into the future, we're going to probably see a nice exponential curve heading straight up to the moon where we all want to be. So guys, anyways, thanks a lot for watching if you made it this far. If you would like to try out the spreadsheet, there's a link in the description below. There's also links for Wealthsimple Cash, Wealthsimple Trade, Public Mobile, and a couple other great things that you can check out while you're here. And with that said, I will see you guys down in the comments. Please leave one because I like chatting with everyone. Okay, see you down there, and I'll see you guys also in the next video.